This is the second part of our tutorial, and all the assets are provided in the description. If you want to follow along, you can. So I added now we are in the rendered mode. So our scene previously would only have the land, this one. We are here, and if I press again the slash key, we are back in our scene. And I realized that now you can see what are the keys which I am pressing over the screen. So we have made our water, and it also has screen space reflection. I added some of the objects from the Quixel bridge. Let me, now you can see it better. We added some of the trunks, rocks, and make the scene a lot better. We also added our camera. So if you don't know how to add your camera, not a problem. So delete, and you are here. So how you can add your camera? Press Shift A, and you will see the camera. Oh, I selected the speaker. Control Z, Shift A, camera. So where is our camera? Our camera is here at the cursor, at the word. So we want if we want to see if we want our camera to be in such a position that it can see this scene which I am seeing over the screen, this view. So if you want to do that, you need to press Control Alt and numpad 0. So our camera is shifted here, and if you want to move the camera like a game, not a problem. Shift and tilde key over the tab, and you can press S to play it like a game, Q to move it down, E to move it up. So guess where the camera position is good, and you are good to go. I think this may work for us. Now we have set up our camera, and you guys don't know how I made this water. So if I delete this, X to delete, and we need to add our water, and we need the water to be right here. So how we can do that? We need the cursor to be snapped to some of the 3D object. For example, we can say that snap to this, shift right click and shift A, mesh plane, and scale it up like that. So we need the water to be only here, only these sections. So how we can do that? Let me delete that. Yeah, so how we can do that? Press tab to go in edit mode, and make sure you have selected the vertex selection, and go in X-ray, Alt Z, shortcut key, and then press G and G. It is good here. So we have our, so if we make it up, it may look better as it is looking now, but we faced a problem here. The water is not looking good. So edit selection, and you can now go to edge selection, Alt Z to go in X-ray, and press, and now it is looking good. So Now what about the materials of the water? For the materials of the water, we need to select this. Make sure you are in shading editor and you are in shader editor. So press new, you have a material, delete it, and shift A, X to delete, shift A to add material. Let's suppose we are adding the glass, BSDF. And we also adding the transparent, BSDF. Control shift right click and make sure you have selected, and right click and then drag it to the other node, and you will have a mix shader. And control shift right click, control shift left click to attach it to the surface. So we have something like that, but we want the water to have some of the waves. So how we can do that? So in this particular example, we are going to use a noise texture. What is noise texture? Noise texture is a noise which have black and white values like that. If you press Ctrl Shift right click, left click, you will see that it has some of black and white values. If I go to escape, you can see it has some of black and white values. So if we want the plane to have height, we need to convert the black and white values to be shown as height. So Blender gives us a node to convert these black and white values into height. Black and white values are 0 and 1. Black is 0 and white is 1. So how we can do that? Shift A, bump. Bump node converts the height into normal. All the objects has a normal. Normal is the normal tells the object the way they need to be reflected or refracted. So if let me show you what is the normal. So this if we go to solid mode and then we go to matcaps, you will see some of the things which we this is the normal of the object. It is using some fake lights and you can see it is perfect. And if we go to now in rendered mode and we can change its normal. So how we can do that? You first need to plug these black and white values to the height and Control Shift left click. You will see the normal. Now it is compiling. These are the normals. The normal is defined by these colors, and these are, if we separate them, we get the axis of these axis colors of the normal. So it is the combined result and we need this, and we will plug the normal into normal to tell the glass shader this normal, the glass normal should be this. So now if we Control Shift right click, left click, you will see that our glass material also have height. Now it is, if we, it is a fake height. It is not actually up and down, but it is showing acting like that. Like you can see it is not up and down, but if we see from here, it is showing that it has some sort of height. It has some sort of height. So the height is quite a lot. We are going to make something like that. Now if you press slash key, now in this scene we have figured out that if we go back, so we exported these from the Quixel bridge as we export them. Control C from Blender 2.93 and Control V to here. So we have such a condition that if we this is the empty object are those who are empty, like they can't be seen in the render mode, but they have effect in the viewport, and you can control other objects, like you can parent them mirror according to these objects. And for the best part, they we need to don't apply the scale because they have a constant scale. So if you scale them up, you can't apply scale to them. So if you guys don't know what the scale is, we will have a beginner depth classes soon. And so this is a parent mean all the these are all the child, and if the parent move, the child will move, but if the child move, the parent will not move. Hope that makes sense. So if we select all of these objects and we want to unparent them, because we are going to use the object scatter add-on, make sure you have enabled that edit preferences add-on scatter. Make sure you have ticked that. So if you have enabled that add-on, we are good to go. That's why we are doing that. Object scatter add-on doesn't work in the parent objects. I think that's why we need to unparent them. Select all of these, control alt p to clear parent, and keep transform means they should be at the location where they are. That's why we have selected clear and keep transform. So now the parent is not moving and we have different. Make sure you have all the objects in the collection. We have done that by selecting them, pressing M, new collection, and then press OK. So we are in the green plant selection, but you may have noticed that our scene is moved away because in the object scatter add-on we need to have the scattered original object to be in the origin of the blender scene. That's why we made a collection over there, unticked the green plants, and selected all of our scene and GY to move it forward. So if you have done that step, after that step you are going to take the green plants and you can delete that, and control A to apply rotation and scale. It is quite important. And select this one and control A, apply rotation and scale. So we are going to scatter the foliage over the land. We will select this object and this object because we are going to select all of we are going to scatter all of these objects to this. That's why it is active. And press F3 and write scatter objects, and you have here the instances. Some of the settings of the scatter objects are here in the workspace setting, and you can scatter your foliage objects, but make sure you have scale to 1. The 1 scales mean the scale of the object. These object is 1, to make sure you have also the scale over there, scale mean size over there as well, the 1. So you don't think the scale in the class is a little bit different. So we can scatter these objects anywhere we want. So if we see from the camera view, we have a lot of, and press enter, we will have the foliage over there. Now it is looking good for now and we are good to go. So we are going to scatter more of these objects, and this was the second part of our tutorial series, and in another part we are going to model the cream of the product. So if you want to make money with the blender, this channel is specifically for how to make money with blender, not the repeat tutorials in which you don't know where is the path, and I struggled with that a lot. And in other series we will have the series how to specifically target customers clients as a 3D artist. So make sure you have subscribed to watch that series.